Hello and welcome to another episode of All Strength.
No int.
I'm Eric.
This is Edgar.
I'm Lita.
And Oscar.
And today we are talking about D&D since we're going to start playing again. Hopefully, all of us.
Well, definitely
Mainly-
some of us.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So we used to play in person together all before. But it's been a while, and then we moved on to online version of playing, but it's been a while. How many months has it been since we played?
Months?
It's definitely been like over
A
a year,
year.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, it's been a while. Oscar has the only DM that I think I've ever had. But it's been a long time. So, and we're gonna play again. We're gonna try to include some guildies that we play with in WoW. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, I've never met these people, so I don't know how it's gonna go.
I don't know, because like we see them when we play in game, so it's gonna be interesting to see how they play when they're playing something besides WoW.
Yeah, I don't know. Eric seems to think they'll be alright, so we'll see.
Well, for sure, Thorn, he's a very funny guy.
Yeah, he's pretty silly.
Alright, well.
So, are you guys looking forward to? Well, I guess Oscar, since you're going to be DMing again, are you going to be doing kind of a similar thing that you've done before, or are you going to change it up for this one?
Well, I asked people for feedback, and only like 3 people got back to me, and most of the feedback was like too much freedom. Because I usually like to run, like when we started playing, I did the very first one was based on a pre-written one. It was the Horde of the Dragon Queen, which I ran on Friday for Eric and some other guys. I think Edgar was part of that too. Yeah, and
they
then
go talking back and forth or something. If I remember
you were in
correctly.
both groups, Friday and Saturday. And then Saturday group I started after, and I just kind of made up that one. But the reason I did that was because I didn't like I don't like the book one because I feel like I have to reread a lot of stuff, and then if you ask a question about a character, I might not remember who it is. But when I came up with the story, it felt a lot easier for me to remember characters and names and things that had happened because I could make it up and then justify it later. Whereas with the book, it's like, well, if I say the wrong thing, then it kind of screws it up, and then I have to figure out a way to fix it, and then it'd be like a lot of retconning if that's one of the ways to fix it, which I didn't like, and that's why I didn't like that kind or that style. It's like a pre-written campaign. I mean, it's cool to start out with, but once you kind of get the hang of it, I feel like creating your own stories is a lot easier, at least for me. Sure, it's more work, but I feel like once you've I feel like most of the work is front loaded. Like once you have your like end goal, sort of, it's kind of easy to work your way towards it instead of just like, every week it's like ton of work.
Right. Well,
And
not only that, like because you're creating the characters and the storyline itself, I can see why. Like they say, when you like write things down, you remember it easier. So like if you are the one who's writing it and creating it, then I understand why it would be easy for you to recall or to like at least know what's coming up next, so that you can bridge the gap with questions.
Right. And and I found that a lot of fun. Like the problem was with, I guess, I mean, me being new, because that was literally like the first time we'd ever played RPGs, tabletop RPGs like that. It was like, I didn't want to force you guys down a path. I kind of wanted you guys to explore and kind of follow your own goals. But I feel like the problem was that you guys, also being inexperienced, kind of didn't know how to set a goal or didn't know what goal you wanted.
Right.
And then when I set challenges for you, you guys would be like, well, let's see what else there is. Let's see what else there is in the world. And so you kind of kept going away from the problems and just kind of like, well, we'll come back to that. Let's see what else there is. And I was just like, okay, well, you guys have created like 5 like apocalyptic scenarios now that you're
Right.
all gonna have to tackle at once because you keep walking away from them. And I even gave
Well-
Lita the other day an example of how much you guys avoided on the Saturday group, avoided combat. It was like,
Yeah.
I literally threw like 3 enemies when it was a hobgoblin and 2 goblins, and the 2 goblins were carrying a chest. And there was 4 or 5 of you, I think, in the party. I think it was 5.
Uh-huh.
And you guys literally did not engage. You just are like, no, let's just let them go. You know, they're not hurting anyone. Whatever. Even though
Not
technically,
really a chest, okay? What if there's something terrible inside the chest, and
Yeah.
the goblins are actually like level
You
20?
wouldn't know because you guys.
yeah, you would never know, and you'll never know. You never know what was in there. I honestly just had filled it with gold, and I'm like, maybe if they take this, they'll incentivize them to actually engage with something. But nope, you guys kept putting it off, and then you guys finally decide to do a quest, which I had repeatedly said through NPCs was dangerous, and you're like, let's just do that one. And then when you were about to do it, you're just like, let's just get it done, whatever, no prep. Just went in there, and then you all died. And I was just like, all right, well, I mean, you guys were close to completing it, but still, and you know, the whole party died. Even had an extra person helping you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, this, I mean, I don't know what to do. And I feel like that has kind of like changed how I approach things, where
Yeah.
I'll just like force the encounter on you guys now, especially
Yeah.
when we've been playing online, instead of having you guys pick and choose. But I think it's still too open worldy for
Mhm.
most of you. And so for this time around, I feel like I'm going to have to really set quests and kind of railroad you through that.
Yeah.
Because
It was kind of like when we did that, like I had told you, when we did the gauntlet where we had to, like, you know, we had to fight a bunch. We went to, like, the Fey world, and we were competing in the Fey tournament. Like,
Mhm.
that gave us, like, a beginning and end. And so we were kind of like, okay, we know our goal. We're going to fight towards that goal. And we did pretty darn well, you know, but it's also that fear of dying wasn't there, because we were just like, all right, we got to just, we want to prove ourselves, and we want to get through this, you know?
Yeah, and it was also a tournament that wasn't to the death, so
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
I don't know, I
But
feel like everybody just gets too attached to their characters sometimes and wants to see them like be the hero that they want them to be. That's
yeah,
why like avoiding stuff that is too hard is
but you
easy.
guys didn't know what was hard. And
Yeah.
well that
you
too.
never
That's why,
engaged
like,
with anything, so it was like, if you don't engage, how are you gonna know what your character is capable of? And I've read a lot. It's kind of a mixed bag, but like I've seen a lot of people where they're like, make your characters, like first time players, make a character and then kill it, because that way they've lost the fear of death, or sort of, or
Right.
you know, but it can go either way, right? Because when the first person sort of died in your campaign, you guys just you even got even more afraid.
Yeah.
So
I've had 2 characters I've loved that have lost both.
yeah,
It's
I don't
like,
know. I
I
also
only lost
feel-
a couple.
well, no,
Mark's lost
I
like
know
10.
Pagani was like my favorite, and then Dalea was like the second, and both of them just,
Lost like
You know?
10 lead up. Just kidding.
oh gosh,
The-
well, sorry.
the biggest thing is like thinking outside of the box. It's like really difficult in that type of environment because as a player, you're very stuck on the player handbook with your abilities, your spells, but you don't really know how you can convince the DM that it's different and not just like fighting. I don't know. Like that was my biggest thing. I know you were trying to get us to think outside the box for some fights, but realistically, it's really hard in the moment to be like, oh, there's boxes over there. They might be explosives. Let's throw them at him or something. I don't know.
And
Yeah.
if you, oh well, that's
Like,
perfect. Like,
if you said we were like fighting under a bridge or under some rocks, like, oh, cool, you know, we might be able to push that on there, but that was never the case. Like, I feel like we need a lot more information on the surroundings with how we could use it.
well, that's not the problem that I have. The problem is that you guys never engaged in the fights.
right,
It was
we would
like
avoid-
pulling teeth with you guys to get you to fight anything.
Yeah, we were avoiding.
Yeah, you guys avoided so many fights. I could tell you, I wasn't kidding. There were like at least 4 things that you guys had created that you just kept avoiding that were pretty much going to destroy the world because you
Mhm.
guys just didn't go to them. Like the whole point of the world was like, it's supposed to be sort of a living world. So you've discovered something and you not reacting to it or taking care of it or reporting it to anyone was
Right.
like, well, that thing that you found is now going to keep growing while you go off and do something else, which was nothing.
Yeah, I feel like that sense of urgency was never really like shown to us. Like,
Well, I tried to show it to you guys and like, there's these creatures, they're coming out of the lake, and they've sent some guards over there, but they're having trouble, and you guys are like, well, let's go to another town and see what they're doing over there. And I was like, okay. And then there was like, hey, there's rumors that there's these cultists that are doing this thing in another town, and they're kind of like, this jewelry store has been broken into, and like several other jewelry stores have been broken into, and you're like, okay, let's not go to that town, and let's go to a different town. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, and then you guys went to the Feywild, and I was like, okay, you guys come back, and it's like, yeah, there's been like this rampaging zombies throughout the fucking countryside, and you're like, all right, let's not go that way. And I was like, okay, so yeah,
So,
I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, at what point, how can I possibly get you to do anything if you're just gonna try to avoid everything?
say NPC tell us we need your help. Literally, that's all we need. The way you phrase it, it's you're warning us. You're not encouraging us.
No, I said, hey, they're looking for people to go fight the people. Like, the guards went over there and they're asking for other people to go help them because there's too many creatures at the lake. And you guys were like, yeah, well, we're going to go do this other thing and then maybe we'll come back. And I was like, all right.
Well, ultimately, it was because, like you said, and I told you the same thing. My feedback was like, yeah, we had a lot of freedom. But again, maybe it was too much because we really didn't know. We didn't really necessarily have a goal, And
and I kept asking for one. Like I there's multiple times where I was like, "Why does your character adventure? Tell me why is he out here?" And most of you guys were like, "To adventure." I'm like, "Yeah, but why? What is the point? Like,
right?
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to prove? What is your goal?"
Like, you're also dealing with people that never really made it past like level 5 or 6. At that point, we're still extremely beginner because we're not used to creating these like.
Most games don't even go that long. Most games end at like 12.
Yeah.
So you're like technically halfway through the campaign.
Yeah, but that's like I don't know. I feel like if you're at those levels, you know the game a lot better than like 4, 5, 6. Like, that's barely when the game's getting good in like the technical sense or in the.
Yeah, level 3 probably I would say is when the game kicks off with their character class.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I regardless, like, I mean, I'm excited to see, like, because I know that, with the feedback, I know you're going to make some changes that are probably going to make it a little bit scarier because I'm a big old chicken. But I think also, if we're really trying to play true to our characters, and if we're a chaotic evil, then you probably would do something terrible when you see something that's innocent and looks sweet. If you're someone who's a little bit on the, you're more angelic, then you're probably going to not do anything at all when things happen. So I don't know. Maybe if
we didn't know if we tried. Like our Friday group, like any chance we had to fight, we went and fought.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys. There were fights where I was like, "You guys should probably back off," and you're like, "No, fuck that. We're already in this." And I was like, "All right." And then you guys would end up winning. Like, when you guys ended up with that magic sword, you guys weren't supposed to get that yet. Like, you guys really overpowered that person, and it was crazy.
That happened. That was funny.
Yeah.
No, I think the bouts of bravery. It's kind of like when you see a bunch of what is it called when you see a bunch of people who are doing something and then everybody's gonna do it, and then you see somebody else kind of ignoring and not stepping in, and then the whole group mentality kicks in and nobody does it. Like, I think, Eric, when you were like being like, okay, let's go do it, having that one person who's like, screw it, let's just go, kind of got that group mentality going again, which made us want to, like, all right, fine, let's just go do it, and then it was actually fun, and we actually did do pretty well.
We're talking about the Friday group. You weren't part of the Friday group.
I think I know I was around when you guys got a magic sword.
She did come tag along with Edgar sometimes, and I think she played 1 or 2 sessions with us.
Yeah, Grumpy Gil.
Yeah, but no, I think she's talking about the sword that I got back in our group when we were doing it at my house.
Yeah, that's a different one. The fire sword? Yeah, that was different.
Yeah.
The one that we're talking about, I think.
No, we were doing it all live.
Oh, I don't remember. It's been a long time.
One of the guy that was cheating, I forget his name.
Oh, Eric's friend. Wait, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from jujitsu.
His jujitsu guy would always roll or say he rolled something.
20s usually, or really high. But yeah, that guy ended up with the sword because he was the barbarian. So it was a really good sword, and he did really well with it, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah,
20s.
well, we started using the box, and it definitely changed his roles significantly.
Oh, now there's one in there every once in a while.
I mean, every now and then he'd still flip the box, be like, "Oh, it rolled on another number."
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it definitely helped ease that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, you were
Yeah.
smart. You were smart, Oscar, because you realized, you picked up on it. And you were like,
That and we told them.
Yeah.
well,
That's why we started using the box to roll dice. Even in the Saturday group, I was just like,
Yeah.
let's just do the box. Everybody roll in the box.
We were really aggressive players. 'Cause, I mean, I don't know.
Also,
Even-
I think the problem also is like with the Friday group, that's a pre-made campaign, so it's kind of like set up so you don't die. With
Yeah.
the Saturday group, I tried to make that one very balanced as best I could, not knowing exactly how to balance an encounter, but it also made it difficult because you guys wouldn't take the fights, so I didn't know how balanced they were or not when you got to higher levels. Because if you didn't take the fights early on, like you're very, very choosy about them, it's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know how strong or weak they are, so I don't know how much they can actually take. And, I would use websites, and they were like, yeah, they should be able to handle all this if they're this level and there's this many people in the group. And then when you would get to it, it's like would be kind of overwhelmed. One
Right.
specific instance of that was when you guys were fighting the tree things, little shrubs. And it was a bunch of like little weak shrubs, but you guys couldn't hit shit, and they were just overwhelming you with their numbers.
that's when Delia died.
Well, she didn't die, but yeah.
She got eaten by them.
No,
She got kidnapped, but yeah.
Yeah, she was taken by the shrubs, and then they swallowed her up.
Yeah, but I never said she died.
She died.
Nah.
Literally, we gave up.
Yeah, you guys never went back for her, and you just made your next character. And I was like, this was a quest that it was like a blood tree that it was inspired by some like a blood tree in D&D lore or something. I don't know. But the tree was like the plants basically feed the tree, and the your character was taken to the tree to be fed from, and all it was doing was like draining your blood slowly. So you were still alive, and if you guys had ever gone back, not waited like months and months to do it, then you would have found her still alive. But you guys were like, let's not do that again. I was like, all right. Yeah. Just let her character die then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I miss it. I still prefer doing it in person than doing it online, but that's just because I like to see everybody, and I'm a social butterfly, I guess. But also, it's kind of fun to see how other people react, when you're sitting around the table. It's kind of tough because I can't see your faces when we play online,
I feel like online just has too much distractions you can distract yourself with. Like, while you're there...
You have no self-control.
Huh?
You have no self-control.
Says the guy with the clicking keyboard all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Eric.
Gio's playing next to me. Hello?
Uh-huh.
Hold on.
But yeah, no,
Gio,
like-
come here. Come here. Come and say
Anyway.
hi.
No, but yeah,
Hey,
it's...
it's our camera.
I don't know. I just feel like there's not the same amount of focus. I don't know. Because...
I actually feel like there's more focus when we play online at least with some people. I feel like they're more focused because they can't see anything else, so they actually listen. I don't know. I that's just how I feel, like with some of the people I've played with. But in person, I felt like there were too many side conversations that were so easy to start up, where someone would get up to get something like food or drink, and they just miss out and have to come back and do the thing. Where online, it's like harder to interrupt someone or just walk away.
Because you don't see it happening, but let me tell you about the times I stepped away. It was a lot.
I mean,
Oh, we know because
Yeah,
you come back. Like,
yeah.
what happened?
like you, I already know. Or you're like, there's no way I'm gonna get you to pay attention. But I'm talking about other players. Like other people, I feel like are they stay in it, and you know they might mute themselves and go like get some water, but they might have like a microphone or something, right? And they can just like talk. Like I know Eric does that, and we do tend to take more breaks regularly online, where it'd be like every hour or every 2 hours, depending on how long we're playing, and I feel like that helps a lot. It's just like people kind of getting out of their system. But yeah, again, in person, I always felt like there were too many distractions. There was always food, which made it a mess, and then I had to stop for that. There were drinks, and people would get drunk and lose focus, so we'd have to stop. And side conversations, which were distracting. People wouldn't pay attention. So again, I have to repeat myself. And in person also, the thing that I hated the most was after like 6-7 months of playing, you guys still just didn't know what to add to your roles. Like basic roles you did all the time. And I was just
I mean,
so
I've seen
frustrating.
memes about that, and I feel like that's just going to happen forever. I feel like people just won't ever remember. Because
I remember when I played as a player, I always remembered.
I don't know. Like I said, I've seen a lot of memes like making fun about that, and it's just certain numbers look better, and you're like, wait, was it this one? Because that would be way better than if I had to add only 2.
Well, the difference is also if you had written it down properly on your paper, you would always know what you have to roll or add to that, because your character sheet has all that information.
Guess.
I wonder if we ever did, like, once pandemic stuff is over, if we played in person again, if like would you suggest actually and this is also for like people who are wanting to create their own games or play themselves. Roll20 is the website you use, Oscar. Would you suggest that everybody bring a device with Roll20 on it, and then that would help with the character sheets and everything else, instead of, you can still play in person, but then also, everything would be automated when you roll, it should automatically pop up,
Yeah. I mean, that's preference. I mean, obviously not everyone can afford to have a device that supports Roll20, because Roll20 is not like super light, even though it is available on the phone, and you can get your sheet, but I guess a lot of people have issues with it, so I don't know. But I mean, if you're doing it in person, you can do paper, or there is like the D&D Beyond. There's a lot of apps. Like we used to use an app for the character sheet that kept track of a lot of the stats.
And the spell, the one that we could do our spells as like when we needed to choose our spells to play for each game.
Yeah, there was a spell tracking app and stuff like that, and I mean that helps. I mean the person, I guess, but still it's distracting, because then you're on your phone, and then if you have no self control, then it's harder to stay focused, I guess. I don't know. For people, I mean, it just depends. I mean, if you know the people that you're playing with, and if you're okay with that, like, I mean, I wanted to try and get some progress done and, advanced story and get you guys to do something, but I feel like a lot of the time it was just like, kind of, just like, we're just hanging out, which is fine, but it's not what I wanted, which is what I guess the problem is. I was like, but I think and also we all had like different ideas of what we wanted the game to be. So I think another tip, suggestion is talk to everyone before you start the game. Make sure they understand, you all understand what you want out of the game and what what the game is going to be about. Because if not, then you all come in with different expectations, and they're not. I
mean, everybody's just going to be like, I'm just going to be a tourist.
Yeah. And so I mean, and I get that when we first started playing, but you got to try and engage a little bit once you learn the game. But I feel like even after playing for so long, you guys just still were just touring the world.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was the biggest thing with me wanting to be a DM. That's why I wanted to follow like a story first to see how it's typically structured, how players interact with it, like what it does to guide them or like force them to go down certain paths. Because I feel like for some DMs, like it might be your story that you want to tell. So you kind of want to guide them, even though they'll still have their decisions that they make here and there that might like surprise you and make you throw like other scenarios in them. But ultimately, you have a goal yourself that you want them to experience. Could be totally different for every DM. I mean, like you said, you probably want to see what they want and then build off of that. But
right,
I don't know.
So like for yours, I mean, your character actually was pretty easy to work with, because you were the great old one warlock, and you're like Cthulhu, and I was like, easy, fucking cultist. That's easy to work with. But I also feel like you didn't really seem all that interested in your religion. You were just like, I'm still gonna just wander around. And then your second character was like, your dad was a blacksmith, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And you said you had like a weapon that your dad had made or something, like, I don't remember. It was one of your family members. I think it was your dad. And you're like, he was a blacksmith, and you're trying to get out the name that your dad is like a great blacksmith. And then you never used his weapons. And I was just like, okay. Well.
I mean, when you got a cool flaming sword, you know.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're trying to get the name out there, you got to use the product.
It's that.
And see, okay, but see, here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you something about that weapon, though. I was like, if he does use this sword all the time, and he's like trying to get the name out there, the brand will grow. But not only that, if he's using this weapon constantly, it might become imbued with magical properties, because it's like in, Lord of the Rings, where they find like the foe hammer or whatever the fuck it was, or like the Goblin Slayer. It's like that weapon was used specifically to just murder mass amounts of goblins. So they're gonna know. Or if someone sees it, they're like, holy shit, that's a weapon made by so-and-so. Like, that's a really good sword. You should be careful. Right?
See, like, I don't know, hearing about that now sounds like such a great thing. Like, you wanting to, your own weapon or your gear to all of a sudden become magical. Like, realistically, I never thought of that as a possibility.
Yeah,
like,
I get that.
Now knowing that, it's like, dude, that's amazing. Like, if I had this weapon or the chest plate that saved my life,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to have a name.
Mm-hmm.
And then you own it and you carry it around, and obviously it's going to be like renowned and stuff. Like, that, adding it to a story is like fantastic. But at the same time, like I said, we're still fairly new. Didn't know stuff like that could kind of happen.
I mean, anything can happen. It's up to me, or the group as a whole. That's why I was kept asking you guys, like, what do you want? And I kept trying to add things that I thought would interest you, and then you guys would just kind of like, well, let's do what someone else wants to do, because you don't want to be the focus. And I get that you're trying to spread, everybody have their, limelight or whatever. But sometimes you guys just needed to buckle down and finish one objective and then move on from there. Lita's was a little hard to work with. I think it was the Clegane one where, like, she was being chased by a guy that burned down her village or something like that.
Yeah, sorry. Family burned down the forest, and her family was burned alive in it.
Yeah, see, that one was hard for me because I didn't know what to do with it other than just send, like, assassins after you. And so I was like, but that seems so, like, boring.
Right. Well, it's like, I think I was just really, really into creating, like, a backstory for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
yeah, I mean, it was good, but I just, like, it was harder for me to work that into the world that we were currently in. Yeah.
Because there were so many, I think when I went in, if you go into too much detail like that, it's almost, and like are creating your own like backstory of like a baron or someone who's trying to take over the whole area, you're creating your own part of the world that you hadn't even planned for. So
and I'm okay with that. Like, that's fine. I can work that in. But the problem was that you guys were coming to kind of a new world. So why would he chase you other than he knew, but like he knew that you knew that he burned down the forest, so he didn't want you to, tell anyone, but you're in a completely different continent now. Right. So why does he care now? So that was the part that was difficult. But if it had been like, he burned down the forest here, or he's come here, like I came chasing him, like he burned down the forest back home, and now I know that he's set up here and he's like a politician, so I'm here to stop him. Right. And then that would have been like, oh, okay, so we can work with that. He's political. He's got power. She's trying to stop him, but she can't publicly do it because she has no proof.
Right.
Stuff like that. So that would have been like a political thing, and fighting, trying to save the forest, whatever. Yeah. But
I think honestly, though, that's like my favorite part is the character creation and the background, like making a backstory for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of my favorite things to do. And then also the characters we come across when Oscar does his voices, it just makes me very happy. You're just obviously voice acting is, there you go. That's your gift. And it's just really fun and it adds so much to the game.
Yeah, I think that's what helps in the Roll20 is you're focused just on his voice,
Yeah.
and then
It makes
we
it
all
real, you
Yeah,
know?
it really does help make it real.
well,
That's
some
much
what I'm
good.
saying. We get a visual also,
Mhm.
Yeah.
At least I do with because he puts up pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Re-
I think especially I think if we can encourage everybody to really play true to their characters, as you're building your character, you're coming up with who they are, you really should act like what you chose for them to be or what you rolled for them to be. So
Right, but one thing with that, it's like if you act too much out of like it, like, well, this is another thing that I've seen online a lot is like, this is what my character would do, but if it's not in line with the party, and everyone in the party else hates you for doing that, it's like, why would they keep you around? Like they would just
Yeah.
kick you out of the party. Like yes, do what your character would do to a certain extent, because that's what he would do, and but if you're in a party, also consider, will I still be able to adventure with these people if I'm just going around killing everyone behind their back?
right,
Like maybe they don't know, they'll find out eventually, maybe I'm actually the bad guy, but I mean that's something we would have to talk about, like if you actually wanted to play the bad guy.
right, you don't have to do a whisper side session there.
Yeah, and I mean we could work with that, and I mean just know that you're probably going to get murdered by the party at some point, because they're going to find out.
You will die eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's fun though. I don't know. The character creation, the meeting all different kinds of people, hearing the different voices, and then when we play like the music and stuff in the background, it really makes it come to life. It makes it a legitimate like town, and it's like I say it all the time, but when I read a book, I see everything and I can hear everything, and
Mhm.
you get really entranced in the story, and it's the same thing here, So you're feeling like you're actually playing and living in a different world when you're playing,
Yeah.
So,
I think the hardest part for people is like breaking away from themselves. It's
yeah,
like putting yourself in this person's shoes that you're supposed to be playing. It's
It
hard.
is.
And your like personal beliefs and, morals kind of get in the way, where, I know Eric, and in real life he's like a good guy, and when he plays his characters he plays a good guy. Very rarely does he like deviate from good alignment.
that's true.
It's like so it like he is very like, and he's never played anything that wasn't good, and I'm like, so that makes sense. It's like I understand that, but when someone else tries to be bad, he's like, nah dude, nah, and he's like, why would you kill them, right? He like tries to justify it in the game too, like no, if you do that, I'm not gonna be happy with that, like, well, no. And so people are like, all right, because but then they are saying they're playing a good character, and it's like, I don't think that's what a good person would do. It's like, yeah, just murder this person because whatever.
I would choose the good side, anyways. So
You are Mr. Righteous over here.
it does fit my character.
Right.
I do it just because, but
Yeah,
for
but
my
I think
voice,
in general, you're also just like in real life, you're just a good person. Just, try to keep morals straight. But yeah, and it's harder. Like there are some people, like I would say, Eric, Edgar's brother, Erik. That guy is definitely chaotic. Something.
Yeah. Always.
And he's like that. I feel like in real life, and that's definitely how he plays his characters. It's very just. Yeah, it's like there's this weird looking thing over there, and it's like I touch it. I'm like, okay.
oh my god, he did that in our group.
Yeah, he does that all the time. I'd see, and I like that. I like that he's just like, fuck it, I'll go do it. And I was like, okay, your character's very chaotic. I get that.
I think for me, like I've tried to create different characters. Like I wanted to do the one that was kind of like Zap Brannigan from Futurama, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
kind of silly and over the top. And then I also did one that was kind of like, he was kind of a mix between him and the guy from Harry Potter who like thinks he's too good for everybody and thinks he's like God given. He's the wizard who knows everything, So like, I tried to like, Clegane was just kind of like young and she's just an adventurer, pretty normal.
Mhm.
Delea, I tried to make her a little bit more brave, and then then I tried to do others. But I don't know if I've necessarily found like what I like to do more specifically, like how you're saying.
From my perspective, you like to play a very naturey, nice person.
Nature.
A little silly. Yeah.
Vegan.
I'm not playing vegan.
Yeah, because your barbarian, the first one was like from a forest tribe or something, very nature. Same thing with Clegane. She was the forest dweller. She's forest
tribal.
mom.
Yeah.
I think your biggest one or the biggest difference one was the Zap Brannigan one. Was he a paladin? I don't even remember.
I can't remember.
But yeah, he was the very strange character for what you had usually played, which I found interesting because I think your character had died, and that's what you ended up with. So yeah.
I was like, well, I'm gonna just come in and be a complete ass.
Yeah.
Let me make an ass of myself at all times. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, you still were a good person. It just you were just very cocky. Very Zap Brannigan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what characters have you guys like just actually enjoyed? Is there like a character you guys have made that just didn't pan out?
Or like, do you mean like who was our favorite or who?
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I guess what character was more fun to play, and then what character
was not.
Yeah, it just wasn't what you thought it would be, I guess. Because I mean, for me, I don't know. Most of them were fun. Like they're all fun and useful and whatever in their own different way, depending on what you make them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They can kind of all be the same thing. It's just this play style. Is he a caster? Is he, this tanky barbarian guy? Is he an annoying bard kind of person?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, I haven't played much, but I did make like 3 characters, I think, that I sort of played. One with you, one with Erik, and one with Eric. And I have to say, I think my favorite one was the one that I played with Erik was a cleric of the light, and we were in the Underdark. Apparently, like I don't think you played with us.
I know. Yeah, I did. I at least played a few times. I remember when we we never saw the light. We lived in a place where you never saw sunlight.
Underdark, yeah. So apparently my dwarf was old enough to have seen the world when we lived on the surface, and now we lived in the Underdark. And my whole thing was like, I'm a paladin, or I'm a cleric of the light, so I'm trying to bring light into darkness. And it was just, I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it because I played him kind of like he was dumb. And I remember like one specific scene was like someone cast heat metal on my chest piece, and it was starting to glow red hot. And I was like, the power of my god flows through me. And I was still trying to kill people instead of taking off my armor because I couldn't.
Nice.
I was just like playing it off. It's like, my god's radiating light. I'm, instead of like, oh no, someone's trying to kill me.
I'm fine. My god will protect me. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's burning.
It's like, this is proof that my cause is just.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I don't know. I thought that was fun. Just kind of playing like a dumb character can sometimes be fun. And I remember like with that character, I think too, there was like a time where Erik was like, yeah, there's like a demon that killed some people, like killed a whole family or whatever. And then we were kind of like, I don't know what level this demon's going to be or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, well, look, I was like, my character is a cleric of the light, and he knows that this demon just like murdered a couple people. Like, I can't just walk by and not do it. Like, if you guys want to come with me, that's fine. If not, I'm gonna go there alone, but I have to do it. And then I just went and did it. And you guys all tagged along, and it was pretty easy actually to tackle. And I think that was with Eric. I think that was your campaign, Eric.
No, that was.
Weren't
was
you?
It?
Didn't you have like a place too where like there was like a bunch of demons to the north or something like that? Or was that Erik? I don't remember now.
That was
Eric, yeah. Little E.
Loli, yeah.
Yeah, mine was like, when I first DM'd, that thing was rough, man, because it was like, I planned for certain things, but you guys just like kept going like freaking
off, yeah.
way different.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to come up with like something
on the spot.
Quick.
Yeah.
You can't plan it out to the T because it's never going to go the way you expect it. And if you do think it's going to go that way and you didn't plan for other things, like, you're gonna have a really quick game.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like the difference between like how much freedom are you going to give them, and how much are you going to railroad them? Like in Eric's instance, he could have just been like, I'm just going to railroad you and put you back on track to the story that I had worked on,
Right.
because I don't have anything else. But instead, he was like, you know what? I'm going to give them the freedom. If I work for this, but they're going to do something else, so we'll just wing it. And that's what I've learned to do, because most of the time it's like I have something planned. Like when we initially started playing, especially with Saturday Group, when it was like the campaign I came up with, I was like, okay, I'm going to put all, this is what they're going to do. They're going to do this mission. They're going to do this. They're going to go here. They're going to encounter these things on the way. They're going to finish, whatever. And this is going to happen. And then Edgar kills a person in the town. And I was just like, what the fuck? What do I do?
I didn't kill, I attacked.
That's right. He didn't die. But yeah, and I was just like, I mean, like, where do you go from there? I was just like, okay, well, they're going to arrest you. And they're going to have a trial,
Now we have to convince them to let you out of jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
It was rough. And I was just, and luckily, I think the excuse was like, magic isn't allowed in town, but someone said that you maybe got possessed or some shit. And that's why you were like bad or tried to kill that person.
Yeah.
And then you had someone like vouch for you, and they're like, all right, well, we're just going to let you go then.
Yeah.
And they're like, and now they're hunting ghosts essentially. Like, man, there must have been someone that's manipulating people, so now we got to keep an eye out for that.
Hey, as long as you're in the story.
Yeah, and I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like you can plan for, you can think you have plans for multiple things that they all do, and then like they say, I mean, just players will surprise you and do something completely different, just never thought of. And I was just like, so now it's just like.
Diamond ahead of you. Do you go for it? It's I shit on the diamond. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for playing. You ruin everything.
Yeah.
Still beautiful. You gotta clean it off a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember watching someone when they were playing, like people online, and they were like, the DM gave them like these 2 magic relics that they were supposed to deliver to someone. Like the quest was just, hey, go deliver this. And one of them was like this orb or something like that, and the guy just smashes it on the floor, and it's like, what the fuck?
It's like, when now what do we do? Now what do we do?
Yeah, so they delivered, I think, and then they stole the sword. So they had like this amazing sword. So then the person obviously sent bounty hunters after them, and then they got mad. They're like, why would you send such a like difficult guy after us? Like, you stole and destroyed artifacts. What the fuck do you expect? Like, obviously that person had enough money to like have these artifacts. You don't think they're going to be able to afford a highly skilled assassin to come get you for it?
It's like he had the artifacts and he was paying you to deliver, and you guys screwed him over completely.
Yeah, stole his stuff and smashed it.
Yeah.
Something else. So
pretty funny.
yeah.
Why don't you kick him in the ground and get a spit on his face?
I think I've kind of gotten attached to all of my characters, but like I think one of my favorite
Liar.
what I have, I enjoy.
You would play the online one if you got attached to it.
But like I do like doing the character creation and all that. But like some of my favorite things that I remember is when we were like in the middle of like this grassland and a bullet came out. Was that what they're called? Bullets? The big worms?
Yeah, well, they're not a worm, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever they are. Just one of those came after us at one point. And we were like, what the hell do we do? And do we sacrifice because we actually had horses and we had to figure out if we were going to sacrifice them and how we were going to do with that.
Yeah, you guys sacrificed the horse for sure.
Yeah, to get away. Mm-hmm. And then also my second favorite interaction we had was, even though it was really sad, was when we're playing in person, and that's the one where we went against the 3 witches, and we were like so underprepared and didn't have the right gear. And you even warned us about needing silver. Like we should have listened, but
I did mention stuff like that. Like, you think it might help. And then Edgar was like, maybe we should wait a little while. And I was like, it'll take like a week to get that done. And someone else in your party was like, yeah, let's just get this over with.
Yeah.
And and then you guys just went in and
they got it over with. All right.
On the positive side, they died. So
everybody died.
Yeah, we did.
They died. We died.
He, she, we. Wumbo.
Yeah, that was pretty. But like, it was exciting. That honestly was like. I know it took us forever to get to that point, but that really was my most memorable and like I feel like we did the most in that campaign.
Dude, that
so
freaking fight was so long. My God.
Yeah.
There's too many people in person. It was just
yeah.
I think that day we were up until like 2 a.m. It was.
Yep.
And we usually played at 6.
And why did some of the group mates go attack the house? Not once did we say to attack the house. Why are you assuming to attack the house? I don't.
A lot of assumptions were made.
Yeah, that's why we died. I blame that.
I mean, I feel like we were going to die anyway.
Probably, but I still blame that, damn it.
Well, I don't know, because that took 2 people, because 2 of them went to do that. Took 2 people out of the combat for a couple of rounds. It wasn't like it was 1 round and then that was it. It was like they had to run over to the area, they had to get within range, and then they kept attacking, and then nothing happened, and then they went back to the fight. And it was just like, that's valuable time you could have used to attack the person's killing you, and then maybe destroyed the house afterward.
If you're leaving a fight, you're also going to have to roll to see if you're going to get hit for moving away from the fight.
Not if you disengage.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I don't remember if they had done that. I just remember that it was like chaos, and we were like, what are you doing?
Yeah. That campaign, honestly, I have to say that I don't know, because maybe it was one of the first ones that I came up with. I had a lot of fun making that world.
Yeah, that
it was
one was
so much
cool.
fun, just like creating all the stuff, and then all the shit that you guys were leaving behind. I was just like, it's gonna come back and bite them in the ass, but it's fun. I remember I told Eric about it too. I'm like, dude, and he's like, dude, you have all that stuff that's gonna kill him. That's messed up. I was like, dude, they don't engage with anything. What do you want me to do? Like. But yeah, no, just making that world was a lot of fun. I don't know. I enjoy the world creation part, I guess, because kind of like how you enjoy character creation, I enjoy that too. And it's just on a larger scale. It's just.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's also scenarios like the one you created with a boat race with like the puzzles in between. Oh my god!
Yeah,
man.
that was the tournament the tournament we took place in.
I mean, that like the whole thing was fun in general, but just fighting amongst each other for the stupid puzzles.
The puzzles were fun.
Yeah, I that was definitely the most work I put into one encounter.
Yeah,
and luckily it worked out. So I'm glad, because I'd never done anything. I even tried to ask like Reddit for help, but I put race, which maybe I thought they meant like a class race or like a racial thing, and instead of like an actual like competition, which I should have put competition.
Yeah.
And nobody responded, so I was just like, someone did respond. They were like, "This seems fun or interesting," and I was just like, "That doesn't help me." But thank you.
Does not answer or help my questions at all.
Because originally it was like I was just gonna make you guys roll, and I was like, that sounds so fucking boring. Like just like opposed rolls, and then I found the book that was like D&D like puzzles or like riddles. Stuff like that. Yeah, riddles.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that could be cool. But I still didn't know how to like balance it. So like with the NPCs, how would they score points since they're technically not solving the puzzles, right? Because they're NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it may have been a little off because you guys won by a lot. So I don't know. I don't know how I would balance that more. Because you guys had really good scores, and obviously between the 4 of you like thinking for real managed to solve most of the puzzles correctly.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun. Like not over the top, but
challenging.
You had to put in effort.
There was a couple where we were arguing, and then we ended up we're like, fine, just do it, just whatever, just if that's what you want to guess, then go ahead and do it. And then it was right, and it was like, oh shit, okay, never mind.
But our roles just in the race, Jesus.
Yeah.
Could not have asked for anything better.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you guys rolled really well. Like, seriously, like amazing.
Yeah, those dice, like, you love and hate them.
It is. It is.
They were wanting it.
What happened?
You were wanting it.
Cheating.
Wanting it? No. Cheating. He's saying they're cheating.
Wanting it.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that that's one of the benefits of having a live session, is having your physical dice that you kind of build a relationship, that you yell at or you praise because they've done good or bad for you.
Yeah,
Whereas
I remember some people throwing their dice and shit.
Yeah, we would. You kiss your dice.
you kiss your dice, you put them on timeout, you grab another set of dice to make the others jealous. You know,
You change colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's people came back with new sets of dice the following week. It's like, damn, dude.
Roll20, like dice sets with absolutely no difference, but in your mind, it's making a difference.
It's true.
Actually, D&D Beyond has dice sets you can buy if you want to roll in there.
The hell's D&D Beyond?
It's the Wizards of the Coast sort of digital version. It's not exactly like Roll20. You can make characters and stuff like that, but that's about it, I think. And you can buy like the books and stuff just to have digitally.
Huh.
It's interesting, but yeah, it's a whole nother thing.
Are there like new modules or new things like from Roll20 that we should know about?
What do you mean? Like,
I don't know. Like what new fancy features can we use?
well, I'm sharing my compendium with you guys, so all the books that I've bought on Roll20 will be searchable for you guys. So like, I bought a lot of them. Like, there's one that was like Margrave, and another one that was like a forest one. So it adds like new races, new spells, which might not be necessarily useful to you guys because some of them are like specific to that world, like healing a tree or something, where you might not find use for that as in the regular games, but in that world, apparently it's pretty important.
Nice.
Yeah, so I added like, I think, how many did I say? Like 900 spells total.
Wow.
So
Christ.
obviously not to each character. You still have your like spell list based on your class and stuff like that. But
Right.
yeah, but no, there hasn't been any major changes. I think they changed the lighting system so it doesn't look as boxy. It's supposed to look a little more round. It doesn't look that much better, if I'm honest, but I guess it's supposed to work better at least.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. But no, they've made some improvements with the character sheets, I guess.
I feel like a lot of it is extremely useful, and I mean, they have just about everything you can think of. It's just where to find it always tends to be the problem.
Yeah, you really have to dig through some of that stuff and learn commands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
Still really good once you get like used to it, though.
yeah, like you can set waypoints with your characters. I think that was something that was sort of new, and you can see like the path they took or you took,
Mhm.
and everyone
Mhm.
sees it instead of just like I move from here to here and it's just a straight line, right? It's like, well, you gotta like move around this, move around that. Now you can actually do that.
Really?
Yeah, dude, I have no idea how. I think it's like it used to be spacebar, and I think now it's like right click. I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, it's not like a super necessary thing, but it does, add a little, make it look visually nice when you're moving your character if you want to do that. I don't know. I find Roll20 just super useful. I mean, I know there's other ones that are like similar. I forget what the one on Steam is, but it's sort of a similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it so easy, dude. Like, I have everything there. I can keep it organized, folders, subfolders. It's really nice. And I can link to other sheets. So, like, I'll be like, the bandit hideout. And then in the bandit hideout, I'll have the leader, the guards. And I can click on the leader and it'll pop up his character sheet. Or I can click on the guards and it'll pop up their character sheet without having to, like, search through all the folders to find those characters.
Right.
Nice.
That makes it super easy for a DM to actually run the game.
Yeah, organization-wise, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's why I prefer that because it just makes it so much. He's already doing so much work that like it sucks to make him do more.
Yeah, for
the DM.
Yeah, for the DM, it's great.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I'm sure there's, people like if you have time, I feel like doing it in person, you can do it. Obviously, it's just so much more time and just the organizing, and then like if you accidentally lose a paper or like it spills something on it, and it's just kind of I don't know, it's a mess. It's a mess.
That never happens.
Never.
Yeah.
We always, never drink or anything like that.
And and then people taking notes, start getting sloppy.
Yeah, that would be me.
You guys take notes?
It was just Lita.
Lita. As I told him, I'm like, here's all my books and notes, and this is when I wasn't drinking, and then as I continue to drink, the lettering gets worse.
It's like a total difference. Like I was looking through the notes, and it's like nice handwriting, and it starts getting a little wobbly, and then it's just like spread out and just messy, and it's like, what the fuck happened here?
Drunk.
Yeah, it's like you can see how drunk she was getting as we go along.
I don't know. That was like my
favorite thing to do.
Well, no, that was the reasoning behind me bringing my laptop, because I can just type so much faster, and I can't even read my own handwriting.
Yeah, so you were on a computer anyway.
Huh?
You were on a computer anyway.
No, I know. That's what I meant. Like, that was the whole reason behind bringing my computer, so I can take the notes and stuff like that.
I know, but you said that there's too much distraction.
No, I know. And I mean, like, when I first started with it, I really controlled myself and forced myself to only use it for notes and for the character sheet and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then once, I don't know, it started feeling like, well, they're doing their thing right now. Let me see what I can do. Internet.
Yeah. Well, even when you didn't have a computer, you were on your phone sometimes, so.
Yeah, that is very true. The ADD kicks in.
It happens.
I know.
Yeah, well, we're at about almost an hour, so.
All right.
Oh, shit.
Anything else you guys want to add?
Fun fact or tips and tricks for newbies?
Oh,
anybody?
As players, yeah, you guys.
I think the biggest thing is trying to like play a character that you're gonna enjoy playing.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to just fit the group. You know.
I mean,
if you don't like that class or whatever, you're not gonna play.
A meta is always gonna exist with, like, you know, tank, healer, DPS type of situation, but you're there to have fun. There's always going to be potions. There could be helpers you could hire to just do your thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we should make it mandatory to cosplay and talk like your character.
Yeah, if you're gonna pay for everybody's cosplay, then yeah, sure.
So, like, literally, I'm the only one that's ever dressed up. I'm just saying.
No.
Lita dressed up.
Oh yeah, she did. Touche.
Edgar did bring his. He bought the whole. Remember when he bought the staff and everything? Though.
Yeah, I remember.
It was awesome.
It was.
Don't say anything.
Yeah, he got into it. I liked it. Yeah, it was cool.
No, try to get him back into that.
Well, we'll have to do a Discord with actual video. Otherwise, it's like there's no point.
Didn't realize my character would die so fast, and I'd have to hang up that outfit so quick.
Yeah, 6 months. Damn. 6 months of every week playing for at least 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
We actually played for... that was your first character, and then we played like another 6 months after. We had a little mini interlude where someone else tried to DM and it didn't work out, and then
Yeah.
And yeah, it was fun. I mean, I had fun. Like, even DMing, it's fun. Like, it is just a lot of work, and again, it's hard to predict what you guys are going to do. And then with the island one, I think where the way we were running this, it's like you don't have to come week to week. So if you don't want to come 1 week, that's fine. But then that makes it tough for everyone else that does show up if they want to continue the quest they were on, because maybe there was like a 4-man group to start with, and now they're down 2, so it's 2 people. So it becomes a challenge for them, and you know, it's like.
And I feel like information just never really transfers properly between, like, the people that were there and weren't.
Right. And I kind of like that. Like, that's kind of why I wanted the world, where it's like you come in, let's say, with 4 people, and you play, and then on a different day, 4 different people play, and they make changes to the world, and you come back, you're like, holy shit, that's cool. You know, this wasn't here before, and now it is. Or this, hey, somebody solved that quest that we had trouble doing, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I wanted out of this, but I mean, we obviously don't have enough people playing, and then it was like a time issue. But that's what I wanted, where it was like, you aren't the only adventurers in the world, and there are other parties going out and doing things, and you'll in the real world, you'll go to the, like, hey, they're doing construction over here, and you know, the next day it's complete or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I wanted, was like, oh, the world is constantly changing and we're not the only ones affecting the world. There's other people in the world. It's like a living world. It's a real world. That's tough to do. That's a lot more work than I thought.
Yeah, totally.
Still fun though.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come up with some stories and then you can DM them, Oscar.
But then you'll know the story.
I know, but I won't play. I'll just write them for you. I don't want to DM, but I do like creating.
She's gonna be a ghost DM.
Yeah, ghost DM.
Backseat DMer. I mean that is a thing. I do know like there are people that have someone write the story and then someone else will just run the story. And the other person will just be there to like clarify anything that's not clear, obviously clarifying. And yeah, like 2 DMs happens quite a bit, and one of them might focus just on the story part, and the other one will do like the combat stuff and stuff like that. I don't know.
That's cool.
Damn, that's hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude, people play D&D crazy. Like, I mean, some people play with like 10 people, and that's just madness.
I can't.
Imagine trying to keep up with that.
It'd be tough.
I kind of feel like doing a D&D with like no roles, just you act and say what you do, and let the DM decide
if it succeeds or fails, depending on how. See, I've tried to do that too, where I'm like, if you're detailed enough, I might give you advantage, or if it's just like clear enough and it makes sense, it's like, yeah, you don't need to roll if that's what you're doing. It just makes sense. Yeah, and there are game systems that are built around that style, I believe. Where not D&D obviously, but other systems where it's like, yeah, you just tell the story. You're all telling the story. Everybody tells their part, and whatever, and it just goes that way. I forget what it was. I saw someone play it once, and I don't remember what it was called. One of them. I mean, I'm sure there's multiple, but yeah, it's an interesting style.
Is that like on YouTube or something, or what?
Yeah, it was on YouTube. I don't remember what it was where I saw it. I just remember that was something that happened. I was just like, all right.
Something fun to check out.
We'll have to search.
Yeah. All right. All you guys go roll bards, and then make your group that you're making called the Backstreet Boys.
See, that's already been done, but not the Backstreet Boys thing. There's one of the guys that I watched.
What the hell, bro?
One of the guys that I watch, he does. It's called Shenanigans, and I think they're all bards. They're like a traveling band, where they can be hired, and they still do like normal adventures and stuff, but they're all pretty much bards, and they just did that nonsense. It's like complete nonsense, that campaign. That was a lot of fun to watch for a while, but after some time, it's like, all right, there's too many bards.
Yeah.
Is everyone singing though?
Some of them sing. Yeah, they do. They put a performance. I know one time they had one guy that wanted to be a bard in like an older version of D&D. They literally made him, if he wanted to talk or play that character, he had to talk in rhymes, or they wouldn't count what he said. So
That's
crazy.
Pretty hardcore.
Because otherwise, it's like they can't understand anything he's saying.
Yeah. I think that was the gist of it. And it's
That's
like, yeah, like some of those rhymes are pretty iffy, but we'll give it to you.
The effort's there.
Right.
That's cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
I wanted to play a bard and come up with my own songs too. I was trying to learn to play the ukulele, but it was way too small for my hands. Strings were way too close. Apparently there's bigger ukuleles, like concert or something ukuleles that are bigger instead of like these fucking toy ones. Ugh.
Yeah, it depends on what one you get.
Yeah. Anyways. Anything else?
Well, things exciting and good fun to look forward to, I guess.
Read the player manual. Just find your thing.
Yeah. And I would say make an effort to learn your character, at least what your abilities are. Make it a little easier on the DM.
And I mean, go as deep into your character as you want. I mean, go in understanding that you probably will and can lose them, but like, just build it how you want it.
Don't get too attached, but get creative.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good stuff.
I know sometimes we get creative and convince Oscar to find ways to maybe save ourselves from some sticky situations.
Yeah. And I mean, I try to help you guys when I can, like, especially when we're first playing on Friday. Like, you guys would be lost, and I'd be like, well, you know, if you remember this happened and you met this person, then you just never went back to talk to them. You're like, oh yeah, fuck, we gotta go talk to that person.
Because nobody took notes.
Well, and sometimes it just happened so long ago that you just forget. It's like,
That's
and like I said, with these pre-written campaigns, it's like you'll meet someone that you think is like random, and it turns out you gotta come back and talk to them or something like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, all right, well, okay, well, we go back. Oh, actually, that reminds me of that Friday group. I remember one like little encounter they had that I found was really interesting, that I really enjoyed running. Was you guys were escorting like a caravan somewhere to a town somewhere, and as mercenaries, and then someone like lowballed you guys or something like that, and they claimed to be like super adventurers, and pretty much took your job, and then when the actual fighting started, one of them passed out because he was like petrified of what they were fighting.
Oh, they were like trying to show that they were stronger or something.
Right, and but they were actually like performers. Yeah, they were actors. Yeah. And then you guys ended up saving them. And I remember Edgar was so confused. He's like, he fainted? What? I was like, yeah. And then later on, they apologize and they're like, yeah, we're actors and we thought this would be an easy way to make money and stuff like that.
My favorite thing from all the stuff we played was the arena matches we had in the island.
Oh, the gladiator stuff?
Yeah, and then we we win and everyone loves us, and there's like statues of us and all this crap. There was a day for us. It was crazy. It was fun.
And the shortest person was it Lita's gnome that like kicked everybody's ass apparently.
Clegani.
No, that was a different. You're talking about a different one. He's talking about the island.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, this was who played in that? It was Lewis, you, and
I think Oscar and Eric.
Oscar and Eric, yeah. Oh yeah, because little Oscar died, and he had to be. You guys had to figure out. Oh, Edgar was there because he was the one that had he found that he had that card that was like you find what you're looking for or whatever, and he found the person. He found the person that was like an old friend of his that could reincarnate him, and he came back as a goblin.
Inside of the city or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think I was in favor because I was ripping heads off.
Yeah. The fact that you just kept adding stuff. Because that was part of the island, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, all those different things just did make it quite interesting, because things like that would happen, where it's like, just in the nick of time, or whatever.
Yeah, and that was fun to come up with, too. Sorry?
I think I was playing a dwarf at one point, too.
Maybe.
I can't remember. Yeah, because I know it's like... I can't remember. There's too many characters. It's been too many deaths.
I know you're playing Cloud or something like that in the island right now. Cirrus?
Yeah.
Whatever, however you pronounce it.
I say it right.
So pronounce it.
It was Cirrus.
Cirrus?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, here's to more adventures and exciting future events we're gonna do. Should be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys want to join us for D&D? Let us know.
We get random people. They're like, yeah.
I mean, there's no problem with that, you know.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
No, we play it pretty loose, like really loose.
Well, yeah, because no one ever shows up.
Yeah. Well, I meant the rules and stuff. But, yeah, some people are pretty sticklers for the rules. Like I try to stick to the rules, but there's sometimes where it's just like it just doesn't make sense, and I always forget about concentration. So we just kind of skim over that, and it's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, you weren't supposed to do anything but concentrate on that move to use it for 3 rounds.
Yeah, or when you get hit, you're supposed to also like roll a con save to see if you stay concentrating on it or you lose the spell and stuff like that. I always forget.
Yeah. It's tough. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, especially in combat.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, All right, take us
bring
out.
up a how-to guide.
Oh god.
But anyways, yeah, it was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you guys think. If you guys played, what edition? Does that matter? Apparently, a lot of our guilds have played like 2 and 3.
Those are tough.
Yeah. But yeah. Thank you guys for joining us today. Again, we are all in. Oh,
Yeah, we are.
with D&D, dude, it's all in, man.
Oh god. Not with some of the characters you guys play.
Oh, God. All strength.
No hint.
Now, Zerk.
This is Edgar.
This is Lita.
And Oscar.
Y'all have a good day, night, morning, whatever it is.
Creepy. You guys have a good day and a good night.
Also, we're back on YouTube apparently. So yeah, if you want to check us out on YouTube, you can do that.
Do it.
Woo-hoo.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace out.